Hi there, welcome to this video series on using the Corsair K95 RGB keyboard and how to use it alongside PreSonus' Studio One version 3.5. We'll be looking at how to configure the keyboard so that keyboard shortcuts can be mapped to all the keys on the keyboard itself, and I'll be showing you how it can improve the interaction with Studio One as a benefit of mapping keyboard shortcuts to just one key. So what it will do, it will improve the user experience in comparison to using a typical QWERTY keyboard that you can buy pretty much anywhere. We'll be showing the differences in the hardware layout of this keyboard to a normal keyboard, and I can show you how it performs alongside the dedicated Studio One keyboards that are on the market, such as the Editor's Keys ones, where they've got the keys mapped and you can actually see what's on the keys. We'll be looking at how to configure the keys. We'll be looking at the use of per key lighting. As you can see on here, it's quite colourful, and also the use of multiple layers. So I can give you a quick demo of that. So actually, with each layer, you've got 3 different keyboards in one keyboard, and you can just simply fire off a different command which is mapped to the same key. So what we'll be doing is, I'll be taking you through an in-depth look at the custom profiles that I've created. I'll be showing you how to configure the keyboard actions and also how to create lighting effects, and that'll be all within the Corsair user engine software, which you can see on screen here is this rather garish looking thing. It's broken down into actions, and I can give you a quick overview of that. So actions is where you would map all your keyboard shortcuts to the keys. You have your actions library, which is where you create these keyboard functions. We have lighting effects, which is whereby you create the various lighting colours that you can see here, such as the rippling ones and the flashing ones, but also the static ones as well. And then you've got the performance, which basically allows you to alter different types of key colours and also change the ability to enable and disable the Windows key. But from here also you can update firmware. If you're on the internet, you can check for updates as well. So what we will do is, right now I'll just take you through the layout of the keyboard itself, and also describe to you what makes it different from a normal QWERTY keyboard. So you'll notice that to the left you'll find a bank of 18 fully customizable G keys, and they're in banks of 6. What I'll be doing in a future video is discussing these keys and how I have them assigned to features that I use over and over again. So for me, I will need quick access to certain functions, and they'll be mapped to those keys. Moving to the right of the keyboard, you'll see in the top right section that we have a little transport control set up. Pretty basic. You've got stop, play, pause, fast forward and rewind. But again, these buttons are totally customizable, so if you want to map them to something within Studio One, you can do that. And then also, if you just look above those transport keys, you'll find a volume rocker, which, although it can't be mapped in Studio One, it does work very well with Windows Media Player for quickly lowering and higher the volume of whatever you're watching. So one complaint that has been levelled by quite a few Studio One users and other DAW users is that generally they will use the mouse because they can't remember all the various keyboard shortcuts and what they do, which is fair enough. There's a lot of functions in all this software, and to try and remember each one if you don't use the function that often is quite time consuming. But with this keyboard, it ensures that you can just press one key for functions where typically you would have to use keyboard modifiers, so like using Control and Shift plus a key, or Alt and Shift, and trying to remember those combinations is what tends to trip people up. But with this keyboard you can map all those modifier keys and the key to just one key, press the button and you'll get the same result. And also, like I say, this keyboard has layers, so I can map different keyboard combinations to just one key on one layer. I can then map a different keyboard combination to the same key but functioning on another layer. So by the end of this series you will have learnt how to link the keyboard to the Studio One application, so that when we start Studio One the profile will automatically start, That's something that can be set in the Cue software. We'll look at how to create these individual layers, like how I've got them set up, and we'll do that for each aspect of recording music. So typically for me, I find that the first part of that process is the recording of the song. So that's your new song, that's your song setup, so setting up your inputs and outputs, adding the tracks, record arming, recording, turning the loop on and off, adding the click in and out if you want to record to a click, also recording multiple takes so that you've got layers. And basically this first layer covers all of that, so this is just dedicated to recording. Once you've finished that recording process, then obviously the next step in that process, and if I just switch to layer 2, you'll see that actually this is what I use for editing. So on this particular layer, this is things like cutting up events, changing fades on events, changing clip gain, which it does quite well. Also going through the transients, so you can tap to transient on here, insert markers so that you can easily navigate throughout parts of the song, adding the arranger track, so again you've got all your song cut up in a visual way so that you can see your chorus and your verse, and other things as well. I'll go into a lot more detail once I get to doing a video on that part. And then once you're finished with your editing, then obviously the next part is that you go into the mixing stage. And again, this layer is dedicated to mixing, so that could be things like adding FX tracks, it could be adding VCAs and buzzers, a whole host of things that you would associate with mixing, things like console scenes, so that you can quickly change the view of the console to whichever part of the instrument that you're mixing. So again, you can customize each layer to however you like to record, or whatever your workflow is. Using this keyboard certainly can improve it, and it will cut down on unnecessary mouse work or trying to do finger busting keyboard shortcuts that you might struggle to remember. So that's just a quick intro, and like I say, there'll be plenty more videos in this series, so thanks for watching, and I will see you in the next video.